Hello students, welcome to SS classes. Today we are going to discuss about the meristematic tissues once again. So my previous lecture I told you children the difference between the plant tissue and the animal tissue. So today we are going to discuss about the topic 6.2, that is plant tissue from NCERT. In that you have an activity depending on the meristematic tissues. So children, in my previous lecture I told you the various location and function of the meristematic tissues in the plant body. So there are three types of meristematic tissue we discussed in my previous lecture, that is the apical meristem, intergallery meristem and lateral meristem. And these meristems are located at the various parts of the plant body. For example, here you can see children, the meristematic tissue, that is apical meristem, is located at the tip of the shoot and the root, and the intergallery meristem is located in the internodes, while the lateral meristem is located in the cambium. We also discussed that the apical meristem helps to increase the length of the plant part. Lateral meristem is help to increase the girth, that is the diameter of the stem, root and the leaf midrib, and the intergallery meristem is responsible for the development of leaves and the branches in the plant body. So today we are going to discuss an activity 6.1. There children, you will come to know where actually these meristematic tissues are located. So children, for this what you require 2 glass jar and you require 2 onion. So let us see what is given in the activity children. You have to take a 2 glass jar and fill them with the water as shown in the figure. Now take a 2 onion bulb and place them on the jar as shown in the figure. Observe the growth of the roots for 4 to 5 days. So children, you have to observe the growth of the root for 4 to 5 days. So yes, of course children, the roots of the onion will automatically grow in the jar containing water. So ultimately children, you will observe that the roots are growing inside the glass jar and the fiber formation you can observe inside the glass jar. Now children, what you have to do on the fourth day, you are going to cut the roots from the onion of a jar 2. So for example, here is the jar 2 and here is the onion. So you will observe that the roots are growing, and on the 4th day you are going to cut the root tips of the onion from jar 2. And how long you are going to cut these roots? About 1 centimeter root tip you are going to cut, and then allow these onion roots to grow more in the both the jars. So children, in the same way you have to wait for more 4 to 5 days and keep on observing the roots growth of the roots in the jar. So children, after 4 to 5 days, once you cut the roots from the onion from jar 2, again you are going to observe for 4 to 5 days. So children, what will you observe? That once we cut the root tips from the onion which is there in the jar 2, the roots of the onion from the jar 2 will not grow. Once we cut their tips, the roots will not grow. While here you can observe that the onion roots from the jar 1 will keep on growing because we have not cut the tips of the roots of onion from jar 1. So children, as the roots have the root tip, the onion from the jar 1, we have the root tips of the root of the onion. So as the tips are there, it means the meristematic tissues are there, and hence the meristematic tissues are continuously growing tissue, and they helps in increasing the length of root as well as shoot in the plant body. So as the onion from the jar 1 have the root tips, this root will keep on growing and growing. But as we have cut the tips from the root of onion from the jar 2, so that root will not grow further. So what it shows, the meristematic tissues are only the permanent growing tissues, and these tissues helps in increasing the length of root and the shoot, while the other tissues behind the meristematic tips are the permanent tissue, and permanent tissue are not growing tissues in the plant body. But children, if we keep the roots or stem or leaf of any of the plant in the artificially prepared medium, that technique is called tissue culture. So children, by tissue culture we can grow plant from any part of the plant body, but here only in the water medium we cannot do that. So if the meristematic tissues are cut from the roots of onion from the jar 2, you will not observe the growth of the root further. So this is about activity children 6.2. So in this way you can make a table for this activity, that onion root from the jar 1 and onion root from the jar 2, and you are going to observe their length. So day 1 you will write length for both the root from the jar 1 and jar 2. In the same way you are going to write their growth in a jar 1 and jar 2 for second day, for third day, and on fourth day you are going to cut the roots from the onion of a jar 2, and later on you are going to observe this growth for more few days. So in this way children you are going to perform this activity. And about the meristematic tissues I have already discussed with you in detail. Let us start with the characteristics of meristematic tissue. So children, here are the characteristics of meristematic tissue. So how these meristematic cells look like? So children, these meristematic tissues are hexagonal in shape. They are hexagonal in shape. Now the cells of these meristematic tissues are compactly arranged. They are tightly arranged. So there is no intercellular space between them. Intercellular space means what? The gap present between two cells. So the cells of meristematic tissues are tightly packed, closely packed, so there are no intercellular spaces between them. Next property, the walls of these meristematic tissues are very thin because no lignin is deposited on their wall. So very thin and delicate walls these meristematic cells have. Apart from that, these meristematic cells have dense cytoplasm. Dense cytoplasm is there because see, they do not have the nucleus. So they have the nucleus, but that is the very prominent one, and they have the cytoplasm and other organelles, but vacuoles are not there. Vacuoles are not there in the cytoplasm of meristematic cells. So their properties are, they are very active, as they are continuously growing and growing cells. They keep on growing and growing, so their growth never stops. Throughout the life of the plant, these meristematic tissues keep on growing. So because of their continuous growth, they are called very active tissues. They have the dense cytoplasm. As I told you, they have the prominent nucleus at the center. Basically, mature plant cell have nucleus at the periphery. एक one side में होता है, and center में, and in the center of the cytoplasm of the mature plant cell have the vacuole. But the meristematic cells do not possess vacuole in their cytoplasm. So the prominent nucleus is there at the center and the cytoplasm is very dense. Next, their walls are very thin. We know that the plant cell walls are made up of cellulose, and the other tissues like permanent tissues like sclerenchyma or collenchyma, they have lignin deposited on their walls. So that makes the wall very harder. But the cells are very active. They are immature cells. They are continuously growing cells. So lignin is not deposited on their walls, and hence their walls are very thin walls. They have the prominent nucleus. They have the very much big and prominent nucleus at the center of the cell. They lack the vacuole. As I told you, they are continuously growing cells, so they do not possess vacuole in their cytoplasm. Now children, can you think why they do not have the vacuoles? Why they do not have vacuoles? Because nothing gets stored in these cells. They are just growing cells. They are keep on growing and growing and growing. So once they become mature, they become permanent, and hence they categorized as permanent tissue. And permanent tissue have vacuole in their cytoplasm. While the cells are keep on growing and growing, so nothing gets stored in their cytoplasm. So they do not need a vacuole. So children, let us discuss what the term differentiation is. Now children, the process of differentiation is nothing but the process of conversion of meristematic tissues into permanent tissue. अब दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है? जैसे मैंने आपको पहले फ्लो चार्ट बताया था प्लांट टिश्यू का. So at that time we discussed in the flow chart of the plant tissues that plant tissues are categorized into two types basically, the growing tissues and non-growing tissues. That is the meristematic tissues and permanent tissue. So children, these meristematic tissues only later on changes into permanent tissue. These meristematic tissues are immature, and once they become mature, they get converted into the permanent tissue. And these permanent tissues are nothing but the non-dividing tissues of the plant body. So this process, children, conversion of meristematic tissues, immature cells, into the mature cell, that is into the permanent tissue. This process is called as differentiation. Now in this process of differentiation, the meristematic tissues gains a specific shape and specific structure. And now they are going to perform a specific function. For example, a particular kind of meristematic tissues get converted into parenchyma. So parenchyma have the supportive role and they also store the nutrient. And another meristematic tissues get converted into the sclerenchyma. And the function of sclerenchyma is only for giving the support. They do not have the cytoplasm in them. So depending on what differentiation is taking place in the structure and the function of cell, they perform a specific function and they have the specific structure. So what happened to the cell formed by the meristematic tissues? What happened to the cell? Once the meristematic tissues is formed, is getting mature, then what will form from that? Now they take up a specific role and lose ability to divide. Once the meristematic tissues is getting converting into the permanent and mature tissue, then what happens? They take up a specific role. They take up a specific role and they loses their ability to divide. वो एक specific shape में आते हैं, specific structure लेते हैं और जो उनकी ability है divide होने की, ये loss हो जाती है. And then as a result, they form a permanent tissue. And later on, this meristematic tissues changes into permanent tissue. Now children, here is the definition of differentiation. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size and a function is called differentiation. Now this process only where the meristematic tissues get a permanent shape, a permanent size and a permanent specific function. This process is called as differentiation, where the meristematic tissues changes into permanent tissue. Now children, cells of this meristematic tissues differentiate to form a different type of permanent tissue. So children, these permanent tissues are formed from the meristematic tissues only. Now children, here you have a cross section of stem. If you take petiole from the leaf, petiole मतलब क्या होता है? जैसे कि एक leaf है. So leaf की जो डंडी होती है, उसको हम बोलते हैं petiole. So if you cut that petiole into thin slice, it's cross section. मतलब ये ऐसा petiole है और उसको आपने इस तरीके से कट किया. So उसका जो thin slice हम लेते हैं, that is called the cross section. So अगर आप वो भी ऑब्जर्व करेंगे तो माइक्रोस्कोप के अंदर आपको ऐसे ही दिखेगा. और if you cut the green stem of any of the herb or shrub, मतलब कोई भी प्लांट हो जो ग्रीन है, उसका स्टेम ग्रीन है, उसको भी आपने अगर क्रॉस सेक्ट किया तो आपको इस तरीके का ही स्ट्रक्चर मिलता है. So children, what will you observe in the cross section of the stem of the plant? So you will observe that the outer covering, which is called epidermis, outer covering is called epidermis. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि ये पोर्शन जो है इतना, ये थोड़ा और जूम किया हुआ है और जूम करने के बाद आप देख सकते हैं कि किस तरीके से दिख रहा है. So this outer covering, epidermis, this epidermis is the outermost covering of the plant body. Now this outermost covering also have one protective cover around it. जैसे कि जो एरियल पार्ट होते हैं प्लांट के, एरियल पार्ट मतलब क्या कि जो एयर की कांटेक्ट में है. अब जैसे कि रूट्स है तो रूट्स तो एयर की कांटेक्ट में नहीं है. सो जो स्टेम है एंड लीव्स है, दे आर इन अ कांटेक्ट विद एयर. सो द एरियल पार्ट ऑफ द प्लांट हैव the protective covering around the epidermis. Now what this protective covering is called? It is called a cuticle, children. This protective covering is called cuticle. Now what this cuticle is? This cuticle is made up of a waxy coating. इसके ऊपर क्या होता है? Cuticle मतलब ही ये क्या है? ये एक thin wax का layer है. अब ये wax का layer होना क्यों जरूरी है? Because this epidermis have this stomata on that. Epidermis जो होते हैं उनमें स्मॉल स्मॉल पोर्स होते हैं, स्मॉल स्मॉल होल्स होते हैं और इनको हम क्या बोलते हैं? स्टोमेटा. नाउ थ्रू दिस स्टोमेटा द प्लांट लूजेस देयर एक्सेस वाटर and that process is called transpiration, children. So excess water should not get lost from the stomata, and that's why the plant have the protective covering around it called cuticle. Another function of cuticle is this waxy coat prevent the damages to the epidermal layer, because if the leaves are getting scratched one another due to the air, as the air flows, so because of this wind the leaves of the plant get rub on one another, so it should not cause a mechanical damage to the epidermis. Another important function of the cuticle is this waxy coating prevents the entry of invading microorganisms. इनवेडिंग माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म मतलब क्या? इनवेडिंग मतलब जो बाहर से अंदर जाके बॉडी में इन्फेक्ट करते हैं, सो उनको बोलते हैं इनवेडिंग माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स. सो ये जो इनवेडिंग माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स है सच एज द बैक्टीरिया, वायरसेस, फंजाई, सो दिस प्रोटेक्टिव क्यूटिकल protect the epidermis from getting damaged by invading microorganism. So three functions are there. It prevents excess water loss, it prevents the mechanical damages to the epidermis, and third, it protects epidermis from getting damaged by invading microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, etc. So these are the functions of cuticle, this waxy coating. Fine, children. Now just below this epidermis, below the epidermal layer, there is a presence of one more layer of the tissue, and this one more layer of the tissue is called as, children, hypodermis. Now in this hypodermis, another type of tissues are located called collenchyma, that we are going to discuss in detail what collenchyma is actually and what is their function. Just below the hypodermis, here you can see the highly magnified structure of hypodermis. In the hypodermis, inside the hypodermis, the third coating is there, that is called the cortex. Now children, in this cortex, the parenchymatous tissues are located. That also we are going to discuss what its structure and the function is. Next is endodermis. Here is the epidermis and here is the endodermis. So this is again the endodermis. This is the endodermis here. So children, this epidermis and the endodermis, these two are single cell thin layer. See here you can see, children, only single cell layer is there. See, this is one cell, another, third. So no overlapping is there. Single layer of the cell is there. You can see here, single layer of the cell. Here also you can see, children, single layer of the cell is there. So this epidermis and hypodermis are very thin. Only single layer of the cell is there. So just beneath this endodermis, there is a presence of pericycle, children. Here you can see this, the lines are drawn for the pericycle. So this is the pericycle, and children, this pericycle contain the dead tissues. So especially what their role is? Their role is supportive in nature, and they also help in the transportation of material. Now here you can see, children, whatever the red part is shown in this diagram, the red part. So that red part contain the dead cells, and wherever the green part is shown, that contain the living cells. So this pericycle contains, children, the sclerenchymatous tissue, which are the dead tissue, and their role is supportive in nature. Beneath this pericycle, there is a presence of phloem. There is a presence of phloem. So here you can see, children, this green color patches are shown for the phloem. Now children, this phloem transport food in the plant body. Whatever the food is synthesized in the plant leaves by the process of photosynthesis, that food is transported from one part of the plant body to another with the help of this conducting tissue called phloem. So children, phloem transport the food from one part of the body to another of the plant body. So this cambium, children, next is the cambium. Here is the cambium shown with the red lines. So this cambium, as I told you, this cambium contains the vascular bundle, and vascular bundle is nothing but the xylem and phloem. It means this cambium is the conductive tissue. It conducts the material from one part of the body to another. And the second important of the cambium is this cambium contains lateral meristem, which we have already discussed. So I will show you that screen, so you will again come to know what is that actually. So children, here you can see what is written, lateral meristem. This lateral meristem. This lateral meristem is located in the cambium. So where is the cambium, children? Here is the cambium. See, these red color lines are shown. Not this triangular part, this circular part. Just beneath the green patches, you can see here this red color line is the cambium. So cambium is cylindrical. From root up to the leaves it is there, and it helps in increasing the diameter of root, diameter of stem and diameter of leaf midrib. जो leaf के अंदर line होता है that is called leaf midrib. So it increases the diameter of leaf midrib, stem and the root. So this is the function of cambium as it contains the meristematic tissues. Next is the metaxylem and protoxylem. So this circular structure, here you can see these circles. So this circular tissue are nothing but the xylem vessel. These are the water conductive tissues in the plant. It conducts the water from root up to the leaves only in one direction, from root up to the leaves, and excess water get lost from the stomata in the form of water vapor. So this xylem vessel helps in the conduction of the water from the root up to the leaves in the plant body, children. And next, what is there in the center of the stem then? It contains the pith. So this pith contains the parenchymatous tissue, which are again supportive in nature. It also stores the nutrients in the plant body and also helps in the transportation of this nutrient according to requirement of the plant body. So outer covering is called epidermis. Next is the hypodermis, cortex. Inside that endodermis is there, and then the pericycle is there, then the phloem, then vascular bundle, and here the xylem vessels are there, and around this xylem vessel, which are shown with the blue color, these are the xylem parenchyma, xylem trichid and xylem fiber, which are supportive in nature, and they also helps in a sideway conduction of the material. So that we are going to discuss in coming topic in detail. Here I just want to make you familiar with the cross section of stem. What are the parts there in the stem of the plant? So this is the cross section, and these are the things present in the cross section of the stem, children. So let us start the discussion of the permanent tissue. So children, what are permanent tissues? Permanent tissues are those tissues which are formed from the meristematic tissues, and these permanent tissues are non-growing tissues in the plant body. So they are non-growing tissues. But children, before discussing the permanent tissues in detail, you should know what is the structure of meristematic tissue. So as I told you, their characteristics. So they are the hexagonal. They are the hexagonal in structure, and they have the prominent nucleus at their center. So like this. There is no intercellular space between them. So these tissues do not have the intercellular gaps. Here you can see, children, how closely they are packed. And their cytoplasm is very dense because vacuole is not there. So it have a lot of cytoplasmic material inside them. Again, you can see, children, their walls are very much thin because they are just made of the cellulose, and lignin is not deposited there. That is the reason their walls are very thin wall. And these cells are, children, these meristematic cells are very active, means they are continuously growing cells, and once they become permanent, at the tip they are keep on growing, and just beneath whatever the cells are there that become mature, and they get converted into the permanent tissue, and this process is called differentiation. So children, here are the characteristics of the meristematic tissues, and here is an idea that how these cells of the meristematic tissue will look like. So you can follow this slide, children, for understanding the characteristics of meristematic tissue. So children, this is about our today's lecture. In that we discussed about the meristematic tissues characteristics, activity 6.1 from your NCERT book, and apart from that we also learn about the cross section of the stem and the function of various tissues in that. So the function and structure of these various tissues we are going to discuss in detail in coming topic, that is called the permanent tissue. And apart from that we also discuss about the characteristics of meristematic tissues. So children, if you like my video, please don't forget to press like button and please don't forget to subscribe my channel.